Let me be honest. It's good to be back in North Carolina. Mecklenburg County. Mecklenburg County is very, very important this year in this election. If we have tremendous, large turnout in Mecklenburg County, Sherry Beasley will be your next United States Senator from the great state of North Carolina. Why is that important? Well, Mecklenburg County, suppose you just got a brand new job. You just got hired. And the company you know has 100 members. You show up to your first day at work and you notice something really odd and strange. Out of 100 people hired at your company, there's not a single black woman who works for your company. Mecklenburg County, this is the reality of the United States Senate at the moment. There is not one African American woman who is a United States Senator in a body of 100 members. Now, if that happened at any of our employers that we work with, we would say there's a huge problem here. Huge, huge problem. And we would go about trying to fix it, wouldn't we? Mecklenburg County, there's a huge problem with diversity, equity, and inclusion in the United States Senate. And this year, you can go about fixing that problem. Now, should you vote for Sherry Beasley just because she's a highly qualified black woman to be a United States Senator? No. You should vote for Sherry Beasley because she's going to be much better than Ted Budd on all the issues. You know, it's hard to believe that someone can get an F rating, an F, the letter F, on the environment. I mean, you don't have to really do much to support the environment. Plant some trees. You can vote to cap greenhouse emissions. You can take votes to punish companies that violate EPA standards. It's very easy. So how does one get an F rating on the issue of the environment and then come before us and tell us that they want to serve us? I'm sorry, if we don't have fresh drinking water, clean air, we're not long for the planet anyway. So how can you represent us? Ted Budd, your Congress member, has an F rating from environmental organizations due to his voting record in the House of Representatives. Every major environmental reform, Ted Budd has voted against it. Anything that has to do with protecting wildlife, Ted Budd has been against it. Maybe that's why the new study came out and said, since 1970, we've eradicated 69% of wildlife species. Since 1970, 50 years, 69% of wildlife species gone. This is because we have representatives like Ted Budd who don't care about protecting the planet. So if you're Sunrise in Charlotte, you gotta be knocking on those doors telling people Ted Budd is for polluters. You gotta be knocking on those doors saying that. You gotta be making phone calls telling your friends he's got an F rating from all the environmental organizations. He doesn't care what planet he's leaving for me to inherit. He doesn't care. You gotta tell all your friends this. It doesn't get any better with Ted Budd though. When it comes to women's reproductive rights, to make the choices they deem fit for their bodies, Ted Budd wants to tell women what they can do with their bodies in their OBGYN office. Crazy, seeing as Ted Budd is not familiar at all with how a woman's body works. They're claiming that they're pro-life. No. What you are is for forced birthing. The doctor walks into your office, tells you, ma'am, you have several complications. We don't think you should go through and continue this pregnancy. You have a 70% chance or greater of not making it. Your child is going to be born stillborn. They tell you this. You get violently assaulted by your uncle and you're 14. Ted Budd wants you to be forced to give birth in all circumstances, no matter what. He wants to play OBGYN doctor over you. Now, Sherry Beasley says this is insanity. First off, everybody's bodies are different. So you can't have this one-size-fits-all standard that they're trying to craft and create. Conservative men, by the way, because they tried to do this, Mecklenburg, they tried to do this in South Carolina. And the South Carolina State House and Senate stood up to the Republican men. Republican women said no. You don't know what you're talking about and you don't know what you're doing. Ted Budd is the same way. I want you to know he would vote for a national ban if elected. He would support a national ban. He's going to be your OBGYN doctor as senator. He's going to tell women what they can and cannot do with their bodies. This is Ted Budd. So if you want Ted Budd dictating what you can and cannot do, be my guest, go right ahead. I don't think he's qualified to tell women a damn thing. Inflation. We're all struggling out here. We're all struggling. Do you know how many families in North Carolina struggle each month with finding funding to pay for insulin for themselves, their children? It could have been capped at $35 a month. You know who voted against that? Ted Budd in the United States House of Representatives voted against capping insulin at $35 a month. voted against giving veterans who had been impacted and affected by toxic burn pits additional funding. So this guy has turned his back on veterans, doesn't give a fuck about the environment, wants to be an authoritarian towards women, and then when it was time to do something about inflation, something tangible, he told the American people, he told North Carolina, no, you don't get a break on your insulin. You continue to have to pay $600, $700, $800 a month for insulin. You can thank Ted Bud because they had a chance to cap it at $35 a month. Know how many hundreds and thousands of dollars Americans would have saved on average by now? The Republican Party said no. But now they want to talk about how they're going to be helpful in reducing inflation, although they cannot tell you how. Senator Tom Barrasso in Wyoming let the cat out of the hat. He said he thinks inflation is entrenched in the American economy. So if he feels that it's entrenched and he's a Republican senator, they're already saying they're not going to do anything for you, Mecklenburg County. They're going to make things worse. Far worse. Sherry Beasley. She's for capping your insulin at $35 a month. That's huge. We'll get paid family leave done, so women can go back to the workforce. You know, it's a lot of North Carolinian moms who cannot go back to work. Not because they don't want to, but because they cannot afford to. If child care costs are $3,000, $4,000 a month, you cannot afford to send your child to daycare and to go to work. So if you have paid family leave, you have a way where you can start to afford child care costs. Ted Bud is against a paid family leave. We have it everywhere else in every industrialized nation on the planet. Besides this one, the supposed richest one. Sherry Beasley is for it. Ted Bud is against it. We'll codify Roe. It's going to get done. Sherry Beasley is a yes on leaving matters of health to women. That's what it's about. Leaving matters of health to women to determine what they want to do with their bodies. Ted Bud wants to tell you what to do. He wants to mandate you. Say no. So we're going to codify Roe. Look, this is simple, Mecklenburg County. I saw the numbers when he ran. Mecklenburg County does not like Ted Bud at all. They can't stand him. He's disparaged the city numerous times. He's talked down about you. He's on the record disparaging Mecklenburg County. Oh, he said some very nasty things about your county. It's crime-ridden. They're this and they're that here in Mecklenburg County. So it's no wonder that Mecklenburg County is Beasley country. Because when you're an elected representative, even if you don't represent Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, you don't have to speak so illy of the county. I would have thought Mecklenburg County was the worst place on the planet. But it's not. But listening to Dead Bud, you would think it was the case, that it is the worst. He disparages and pits other North Carolinians against each other. He allowed the former lunatic commander-in-chief to come into the state of North Carolina and to disparage a former Supreme Court Chief Justice, Sherry Beasley. That lunatic called Sherry Beasley a Marxist. Now, nobody who ever came before former Supreme Court Chief Justice Sherry Beasley's court, nobody who ever came before her proceedings ever thought that she wasn't going to be impartial, that she wasn't going to follow the letter of the law to a T. So all that Ted Bud has to do now is to throw outlandish smears and put out ad hominem attacks against Sherry Beasley. He's so desperate because he knows he hasn't done anything. He's done nothing for the state of North Carolina. Absolutely nothing. But enrich himself and his donor friends. You know, in less than 2 decades, he's voted for 2 tax cuts for the wealthy. 2 tax cuts in less than 2 decades for uber wealthy individuals in this country. All Ted Bud cares about is himself. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care that you do or don't have clean drinking water. He doesn't care that you do or don't have polluted air. All Ted Bud cares about is himself. Mecklenburg County, you know this, so send him a message. We don't want you, Ted. We don't want you. I think Mecklenburg County is going to show tremendous turnout. I think it's going to be through the roof. Huge. I see the Beasley signs everywhere. You know, it's very close, Mecklenburg County. There's nearly 1.1 million of y'all in Mecklenburg County living here. Nearly 1.1 million. You get 700,000 votes. 800,000 votes out of Mecklenburg County, and Sherry Beasley is your next senator. 800,000 votes. I'm proud to endorse Sherry Beasley for United States Senate in North Carolina. She's a scrapper and she's a fighter. She's never going to forget Mecklenburg County. You have conservative politicians disparage Mecklenburg County, say horrible things about the people who live here. Sherry Beasley has your back, Mecklenburg County. Now make sure you have hers.